Texas Senator Ted Cruz says that Joe Biden's ban on new natural gas export projects is a, quote, giant middle finger to Texas for attempting to close its border to illegal immigration. One America's John Hines has more from Capitol Hill.
We're here with Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Sir, by all accounts, this border deal, which people have been talking about a lot, is dead, dead, dead. Talking about the epitaph, what happened?
Oh, look, it should be dead. It's a terrible deal. It's a terrible deal because it does not solve the border, and it was never designed to solve the border. Listen, Democrats want this border crisis. Understand, Joe Biden, when he came into office, he inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years, and he deliberately broke the border. He deliberately opened up the border and allowed 9.6 million illegal immigrants to flood into this country. And even worse than that, it was never going to pass because the House of Representatives said at day one, this is dead on arrival. And so what was its purpose? Its entire purpose was political. This is camouflage. This is designed so Chuck Schumer and the Democrats can, number one, do nothing on the border, but number two, say, gosh, we would have solved the problem, but the mean old Republicans wouldn't let us. It's entirely about letting them fake it in the election in November and pretend they want to fix the problem. And understand this. If there were a single Democrat who wanted to fix the problem, Joe Biden could fix it tomorrow. He caused it through unilateral decisions. He could reverse those decisions, and we could secure the border.
To what extent was the demise of this related to Mr. Trump coming out and vociferously saying it was a bad idea?
Yeah, look, I think that was certainly very helpful when President Trump did that. Although, to be honest, I think this was going to crash and burn anyway. I and other conservatives have been making the case against this from the beginning. And listen, if we wanted to secure the border, the House of Representatives actually acted to do that. They passed legislation, it's called H.R. 2, that is tough legislation that would actually mandate securing the border, would force the Biden administration to deport illegal immigrants. The House passed that. In the Senate, I introduced it. I'm the author of H.R. 2 in the Senate. If we actually wanted to do a deal where we secured the border, we should pass H.R. 2. We know how to do that. And what happened? Chuck Schumer, the Democrats, said at the outset, nope, that's a non-starter. Why? Because we don't want to secure the border. That's fundamentally the problem, is this was a political game by Democrats. It was a political game to get cover, to fake it on the border. And unfortunately, Senate Republican leadership fell right into that trap. And I'll tell you, for months, I and many other conservatives have been telling Senate Republican leadership, you're falling into that trap. And they didn't listen to that counsel.
Sir, a question I want to pose to you because you're a senator from Texas. Natural gas is big in Texas.
Yes.
LNG, they call it liquefied natural gas. It's big on the Gulf Coast there. Most of it goes in and out of Texas. So the border issue you mentioned, your state has been putting up this wire.
Yes.
It sued Joe Biden because they didn't want the wire cut. Now, just around the time of this lawsuit, Joe Biden basically issued an order, a moratorium on liquefied natural gas export projects. Is that a coincidence, sir?
It's not at all, and you're exactly right to link those two, because the ban on new export projects for liquid natural gas was meant to be, and was in fact by Joe Biden, a giant middle finger at the state of Texas. He's angry because Texas is fighting to secure the border. He's angry because Texas takes the safety and security of our citizens seriously, even if Joe Biden does not. And so he is deliberately trying to impose a policy that he knows is harmful. Let me tell you what will happen from this LNG export ban. Number one, it will kill thousands of high-paying jobs in the United States, many in Texas, and Joe Biden wants to kill those jobs in Texas. But number two, it hurts our allies. Joe Biden, in order to spite Texas, he's also hurting Europe, he's hurting Ukraine, he's hurting our allies who rely on that LNG, who need it. And on top of that, you know what else Joe Biden is hurting with this? He's hurting the environment. Understand, this is being pitched by the Biden administration as an environmentalist move. It is the opposite of that. This decision hurts the environment. Why? Number one, because it will force our allies to buy LNG from other countries that produce it much, much more dirty. It will pollute the environment more, and many of our allies, instead of relying on natural gas, will rely on coal, and coal pollutes massively more than natural gas does. It emits much more carbon, And so congratulations, Joe Biden. You're spiteful and political and trying to stick it to Texas, and you're killing jobs, you're hurting our friends, you're helping our enemies, and you're hurting the environment.
Senator Ted Cruz, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for talking to us on Weekly Briefing, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.